Michelle, what did you think about Christmas as a child in Japan? Did you guys even celebrate Christmas?
We do, of course. It's the commercial money-making time for the economy. My parents are Christians, so they met at church youth group. So I've been always Christian, I guess. And we did celebrate Christmas. We had little Christmas tree, but not inside the house, but outside the house because my mom doesn't want to. But we had the actual tree, the little pine tree. So we used to decorate. And it was like way before decorating for Christmas got popular. So I don't know, at first my neighbors are like, what's going on with the lights on at night? But now I think a lot of people decorate for no reasons. People in Japan are not Christians. It's like 3% of the population.
Any misconceptions about Christmas in America?
Well, I think people in Japan think Christmas in America is to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Do you know why that is?
Because they have great commercials. Oh my gosh, they look so amazing on commercial. And I think it does taste better in Japan. But I don't know. I think that's what people do, like buy Christmas cake and Kentucky Fried Chicken and have those for Christmas Eve.
Wait, what is Christmas cake?
Christmas cake is like a strawberry shortcake.
That's not Christmas cake.
but that's what they say, Christmas cake. And when I was young, Christmas cake was like the thing to describe a maiden who cannot get married by 25, age 25. So, up to 24, 25, it's the prime price. And after 25th, there's like not much value. Like 26 is half price off. That's what it was. Like my mom's like, you're going to be a Christmas cake if you don't get married by 25.
Interesting. Interesting. Do people give gifts at Christmas time in Japan?
Of course. But I think usually couples, they give Christmas gifts to each other. And also my parents used to give me this boot, just one boot filled with snacks, like cookies and chocolate and candy.
Inside the boot?
Yeah, just a boot. Yeah, like a red Santa's boot.
Oh, okay.
And it's filled with candy.
Did Santa visit you in Japan?
Of course. I mean, we are Christians. I'm like, Mom, Dad, we don't have a chimney. And I think Santa comes through chimney. And I was like really worried. And then they're like, we're going to have the bathroom window open just a smidge for the Santa to come in.
That's funny.
And I think he did come in.
Nice.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode number 11 of the Japanese America Podcast, the podcast where we explore the blend of Japanese and American cultures, history, and traditions, as well as all the quirky and wonderful things in between. My name is Michelle, and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm the other host, Koji.
Koji, any exciting holiday plans?
Exciting? No. Just more, just hanging out with the family for all the holidays, and I think we're playing baseball somewhere, but we're always playing baseball, so I don't know if that's exciting. But we're playing in a like a showcase. What about you? Any exciting holiday plans?
No. Christmas. We used to go to church until COVID, but now we don't go to church. We are terrible Christians.
What about for New Year's? Do you guys don't do osechi or anything, right?
I only buy osechi, the items that I like.
What's your favorite osechi item?
I like datemaki.
Okay.
The egg omelet. Yeah, my sister makes them, and she's like, "Oh, it's so easy to make," but I'm too lazy to make them.
My favorite is the kurikinton.
Oh, kurikinton's so good.
Yeah, because it's like and it's gold, right? So that means money, money. Yeah, that's what we need is money.
My mom always made sure we eat mame, not money, mame, the kuromame,
yeah,
the black.
What do they represent? Long life, right? Or health?
Is it long
or is
life?
It health?
No, my mom said you're gonna be mame with mame. I don't know mame, like diligent.
Diligent? Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So she wanted me to eat mame. She's like, eat more, eat more.
That sounds like a very Japanese thing to do. All right, with Christmas and New Year's right around the corner, we wanted to talk about holidays in the camps.
For this holiday episode, we are sharing excerpts from Unforgotten Voices, an oral history of incarceration, a powerful collection of first-hand memories from Heart Mountain, Wyoming, where Japanese Americans were imprisoned during World War II. These stories capture the bitterness reality of Christmas behind barbed wire, anonymous gifts from church groups, longing for home on the West Coast, and the quiet tension as loved ones left to serve in the U.S. military.
We asked actor Brian Takahashi and Kara Mitsuko to help bring their stories to life. Brian Takahashi, actor, writer, and director, starred as young Mr. Miyagi in Cobra Kai and appears in Blue Eye Samurai, Outer Range, and Ikigai. He produced stage shows, web series, and now leads media strategy for major studios, collaborating with legends like Sam Raimi and Clint Eastwood. Big new projects are on the way in 2026. Kara is an actress, producer from Northern California. Her incisive and passionate nature has allowed her to work on many different sets in different capacities, always seeking out new learning experiences. She originated the lead role in Luis Valdez's play Valley of the Heart. She then broke into TV with the fiery role of Sarah on Amazon Studios' The Man in the High Castle. She's also a founding member of the collective The Film Kind. The first excerpt comes from a 2004 interview between Norman Mineta, then U.S. Secretary of Transportation, and author Joanne F. Oppenheim, recorded on October 14th.
That winter, a new song was playing on the radio, White Christmas. I guess for the soldiers in the Pacific, it was a song of longing, dreaming of a white Christmas and home. We didn't have to dream. It was right outside our doorsteps. But we didn't let that frozen wasteland go to waste. That winter, the scouts helped with digging out the baseball field between the upper and lower block. Volunteers flooded the fields, and they became ice skating rinks. I remember I wrote to my sister in Chicago and told her they made a pond. So next thing I know, she sent me a pair of ice skates. I loved ice skating. That was just a real thrill. Now, I used to always get kidded because of my ice skates. There are two types. The racing skates that had a long nose to them, and mine were figure skates. They had those little saw teeth on the front end, so kids always used to tease me about them. Normie's got figure skates. But I was very proud of those figure skates, and I loved ice skating.
The second excerpt comes from Babe Martoglio, who spoke with Joanne F. Oppenheim in an interview recorded on July 25, 2006.
Our theme song for the Pep Squad dance was White Christmas. Of course, that was a popular new song from the movie Holiday Inn. We went up to cut fresh trees so we could flock them all white for the dance. One of my friend's father had a big truck and a Japanese man working for him, so he sent his driver with us to help us to drive the truck and help us load the trees. I think his name was Tojo. He was from Heart Mountain. Anyway, on the way home, there was a place called the Green Lantern, and they always had homemade ice cream, and we never went by there without stopping and getting some ice cream cones. And the screen door was pushed open, so we couldn't see the sign that said no Japanese allowed. So we went in there, and the man who owned the place started after this Japanese guy with a knife because he had lost a son in the South Pacific. He was very emotional, and all of us tried to stop him, and we ran out, very definitely without our ice cream cones.
The next two stories are drawn from the diary of teenager Stanley Hayami. The first entry is from December 24th and 25th, 1942, written while he was incarcerated at Heart Mountain. The second comes later, during the time serving with the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. Both excerpts are part of the Hayami family papers housed at the Japanese American National Museum.
Doggone it. Yesterday was my birthday, and I didn't even know it. Today I was saying that I'll be 2 years more before I sign up for the draft. When Sot says, "What do you mean? You're 17 now." So I'm 17 now. I don't feel like it. I mean, I don't feel grown up like some people who are 17. Some are already out in the Pacific or someplace fighting. Yesterday night, I got an Xmas present from someone I didn't even know. From a lady named Miss C.W. Evans, who lives way over in Menominee, Michigan. I got the present via the Sunday school. A lot of other kids got presents too. Walter, George, and Tomo. Their presents came from all over the country. Walt's came from New York, Tomo's came from New Mexico, and George's came from Minnesota. Besides the presents, Everybody in the camp under 19 gets a present whether they go to Sunday school or not. All the presents were sent by the Presbyterian Union Church. I really think it was a fine gesture. I'm going to write to that lady as soon as I can. At about 7 o'clock, I went to our mess hall Christmas party. It was lots of fun. We played some games, one of which I had to eat crackers and then whistle. I couldn't even eat one of the 5 crackers. After the games and entertainment, Santa Claus came, much to the delight and happiness of the kids. George's little sister, Sachi, was so scared when she saw Santa that she cried. Masao and Tadao and some other little kids went up to shake hands with Santa and get some candy and nuts from him. They looked as if they were in a trance. They came back holding their packages and looking intently at it. Then they showed them to everyone. Then they dragged out big boxes filled with presents for everybody. I didn't expect much this Xmas, and instead, I had about the most fun I ever had. Dear Sach, here it is just about Xmas again. Sure is going to be a sad one. Every one of us spread all over. I'm still in the middle of my bivouac. It's pretty rugged. Guess this is nothing to what Frank will be going through shortly. Hope nothing happens to him. Thanks for your interesting letter. It boosted my morale quite a bit. I was feeling pretty low that day. I won't be able to get you anything this Xmas, as I have to have enough money to go on my furlough. I hope I can get to New York on my pass from Meade, because I don't think I have time to go to Heart Mountain and New York at the same time. Merry Xmas, and Happy New Year. Stan. P.S. Best thing I could wish for as an Xmas present is for the war to end. P.P.S. Stop talking about food in your letters. Here I am on bivouac starving, and you write about sukiyaki and shrimp tempura? I get so hungry out here that I eat anything. This morning I even ate 2 mess kits full of oatmeal, plus 4 slices of bread, and 2 scoops of scrambled egg. Last night, I was so hungry. I went through the mess line 3 times. I would have went again, only they ran out of food. If I go to New York, how's about taking me to Miyako to eat?
What stands out to you in these stories, Koji?
What stands out to me in these stories, just the tragedy of being at these camps during the holidays. I mean, it must have been a very bittersweet time for a lot of these folks, having to be locked up, but also trying to make the best of it. And I think that when I listen to these stories, when I hear these stories, and when I read these kinds of stories, they remind me about how resilient the Japanese American community was, that even though everything was kind of crappy, that instead of feeling sorry for themselves, they really did try to make the best of it. And they really tried to do and just try to have as normal of a holidays as humanly possible. What about you? When you hear the stories or read these stories, what stands out to you?
Well, when I was growing up, birthday, Christmas are very, very important. And one of the excerpts, one kid forgot his birthday. That was yesterday. Oh my gosh. Because I don't know, with this circumstance, I guess you just try to forget about days, or I don't know, that it's so sad.
They probably didn't want to make it harder for everybody. If you don't have to celebrate your birthday, then it just means that no one has to do anything special for you, probably, is what I imagine.
Very, very Japanese.
Very Japanese, yeah.
I felt so bad for these kids that have to go through, and at the same time, I'm so grateful that we live in the time that we do not forget, we overdo for birthdays for kids.
And holidays too. I mean,
yeah, holidays too.
One of the things that brought up was, and we've talked about this, and we actually heard from it in one of the previous episodes. One of the most powerful moments when I worked at the museum full time was when it was a Quakers program, where one of the Japanese Americans, he's older now, but when he was young, he got a book for Christmas, and it was the only present he got that year. He got that book and he brought it to the museum for this program, and he wanted to give it back as a thank you and he kept it all these years to give it back. And I remember thinking about how powerful that was, that, for a lot of these Japanese American kids, this was they didn't get Christmas presents necessarily. They didn't get all the things that our kids get. This one book, because it's the only thing he got, was super meaningful, that he even kept it, 60 years. And it was such an important thing that he treasured it. And sometimes I wish my kid could have that kind of experience in that, so he could appreciate and know what he has, and which he can't now because he has everything.
These stories really remind me that joy is very powerful.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
One of the excerpts said he wasn't expecting much, and then the present were given to everybody, especially because he wasn't expecting anything and he received something for Christmas. That little joy counted much more, weighed way more than, kids nowadays getting something. It was just like he wasn't expecting anything, and he was just living in a despair.
And actually, one of the things I remember when my son was young, I mean, he's 14 now, but when he was 6 or 7, I mean, we would get so many presents from all these people in the family and everywhere. And I remember we would, and for his birthday as well, we would open presents one every week or something, because I just felt like if he just opened all of them, it just felt like he didn't appreciate what he had. And when he opened it one at a time, we made him write thank you letters and whatever, but it was just something that he could appreciate. And I think that, one of the things when I read these is just like, you're right. It's when you get one present, or when you're not even expecting a present, it means a lot more. The other thing I was going to say was this Stanley Hayami diary. I mean, if you ever get a chance to read this is one of the most important things the museum has, this diary from this kid. And he wrote it while in camp, and then he wrote it while he was in the 442, and he ends up dying in the 442. And it's a really powerful diary where you really get a sense of like kind of the tragedy, because he was a teenager during camp, and you kind of hear the tragedy of him being a teenager in camp and all that, and then all the 442 stuff. It's just a really, really powerful diary. One of the things that I always think about when I think about the Hayami diary is if there was a fire at the museum and there's only there's certain things that we would try to save, and the diary would be one of those things, because it's such an important artifact for kind of what happened, because they're first person there. Maybe one day we'll read all of them, or we'll have some of them on the podcast.
And also, he went to war when he was 17.
Yeah, he was a kid still. Yeah.
Yeah, that 17 is still a kid, and he had to go to the war. That's as a mother of 20-year-old living at home. That's like, oh my gosh, how would mother feel? And then the parents, the mothers, they learn English so they could write letters to their kids, and they could read the letters coming from the war area.
Yeah.
All those things that really, I can't imagine how much pain they had to go through.
Reading Stanley's diary and hearing kind of those battles, it was very humbling. I mean, I think we've talked about this as well before, but when I was growing up and I thought of the 442 guys, I thought of them as like these, superhero G.I. Joe, 7 feet tall men, just because you hear these amazing stories about all these kind of crazy things that they did. And then you see pictures or you read stories from, the 17-year-old, and you realize that they were like little kids. And you just realize they were like normal people. And then you start to see the tragedy of all these people dying, and, and we're getting hurt or coming back not the same. And you just kind of realize that it was crazy. And you're right, as a parent, even more so. I mean, to have to, like, it's one thing for me to go and fight and whatever, because, there's ultimately, I mean, especially before I had a kid, it didn't mean anything, but now it's much harder. And that's why when I coach baseball, and when the kids are kind of talking about war and kind of having fun with it, I'm always like, hey, I'm not fighting in the war anymore. Like the only person that's fighting in the war are you guys. So you guys got to think a little bit about what's going on in the world, and making sure that, you guys aren't fighting, because like no one wants a 46-year-old dude fighting, or else things are totally bad. The war is going really bad for us if I'm fighting in the war.
My joint. And then the story about this girl with the Japanese driver, helping her pick up the Christmas tree or something. They usually stop at this ice cream place, and the owner of the ice cream parlor came out with a knife to harm the Japanese driver. That is awful. I mean, it was awful that his son got killed, but at the same time, if you it's not this guy who killed his son, but he still came out and like come after a Japanese person, a Japanese looking person. That is awful that, people discriminate against their look because he's Japanese American, not Japanese who killed his son.
Yeah, but I mean, even a Japanese person didn't kill his son.
No, I mean not him. I mean, somebody else did. And then also, I'm sure this guy who killed his son didn't want to kill them, but it was an order to kill any Americans.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's war. War is war.
War is terrible.
It's kind of crazy. I've had this conversation with my son about how, like before they didn't like Japanese Americans or Japanese people. And even in the 80s, right? When Japan was powerful and they were buying up all the land and golf courses or whatever, like that, it was hard to be Japanese. And that's why, I was telling him sometimes I have to look twice when I look at Dodger uniforms and they have Japanese writing on the back of it. And I'm like, and then people who aren't Japanese or Asian are wearing it. It blows my mind sometimes because, there was a time when being Japanese at all, Japanese American, Japanese whatever, was bad. Like you didn't want to advertise it, even my son was like, what about with Asians? And I was like, no, I would go to my friends' houses with their grandparents who were from Korea or from Taiwan or China, and they hated me. I remember not being allowed in the house.
Oh my God.
Because of World War II, what Japanese people did in World War II. And I understood. I wasn't upset about it, but I understood. But, that's something that my son never has to go through. And it's crazy when you see like Otani or Yamamoto and you see these guys in the Dodger uniforms and you see like people who aren't Japanese wearing their uniforms and with Japanese writing on it, not like just, Yamamoto or something in English letters. So it's really powerful. And then, do you think about this experience with the ice cream cones and you think, it was so like, you couldn't go to places. You had to be careful about where you're going and, and you had to be careful about who saw you because you never know, right? Somebody could have gotten killed by like their child or friend could have got killed by a Japanese person during the war and now they're going to try to kill you.
And then also like that during that Christmas or right after Christmas, they were allowed, there was an announcement they were allowed to go back. But like, I think the Hayamis, they were, was it Hayamis?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were like, the father was like, well, they are the one who put us here and now they want us to go, but we're not leaving till we are ready to go.
It's crazy.
Back. And then like they were hearing that in West Coast, it's still not safe to go back. But they are like, oh, we're going to close the school. No more school for you guys. Bye-bye. I mean, as a kid, maybe I don't have to go to school. That's great. But
Michelle, as we head into the new year, what's one wish you'd send out to the world?
Well, I hope, especially as a parent, because I don't think nobody will send me to war. I'm going to be very... I'm
going to send you to war, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm going to be useless. Well, especially as a parent, I hope there will be no circumstances that we had to send our kids to fight for no reason. That is so wrong. So I want the peace.
That's a great wish. And I wish that as well. I mean, I think that one of the things I wish for also is I think our country is in a kind of a weird place. And I just wish that we could all kind of, I mean, this sounds cliche and trite, but I wish we could get along. I wish we could just kind of figure it out and be a country again. I just feel like there's kind of two countries sometimes and that I just wish we could all kind of be together. And, that's one of the reasons why I like this podcast. I like kind of what the museum does is it talks about something in the past and how we could be better. And I think that that's something that's important to me is that we could be better. We could always be better, and I don't bring these things up to say, oh, America sucks or something. It's more about how America could be
improved.
Improve. And, and just because it's criticism of something that's happened in the past doesn't mean that I don't love the country. That like, just like with anybody I love, I could see the not so great things and still love it and still hope that we could be all better.
Maybe we should drink more Coca-Cola because that's what I saw in Japan on commercials. People are drinking this black liquid and frolicking with the Mexican looking people. Black people, white people, they're all dancing in the rain. I'm like, oh my God.
So if you drink Coca-Cola, we will all get along. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Although Coca-Cola in Japan is different than Coca-Cola in America.
Oh, was I catfished?
I mean, the Coca-Cola in Japan is much better tasting.
I think it's the water maybe that they mixed with.
No, I think it's the sugar,
Oh.
like the type of sugar that they use. I think in America it's more high fructose, so it's sweeter. The American Coca-Cola is always sweeter than like Mexican Coca-Cola or Japanese or European. I think the Americans are it's so sweet. It's hard to drink sometimes, I think.
I gotta start looking into it. So maybe I could force people to drink Coca-Cola and make it all better for everyone.
I think the Coca-Cola company would be really excited and that their commercial works so well. All right. Thank you to Joanne Oppenheim for generously sharing these excerpts with us. Unforgotten Voices from Heart Mountain is available for purchase on Amazon, the Kindle edition, and in paperback through the Japanese American National Museum store.
And thank all of you for listening to our podcast. We are deeply grateful for your continued support and enthusiasm for the Japanese America podcast. Your engagement, feedback, and passion inspire us to keep sharing stories and perspectives that bridge cultures and bring people together.
Thank you for being part of our community and for tuning in to each episode. We're excited to continue this journey with you, exploring the rich and diverse tapestry of Japanese American experiences. Stay tuned for more exciting content and don't hesitate to share your thoughts and ideas.
This podcast is a program of the Japanese American National Museum. The museum's mission is to promote understanding and appreciation of America's ethnic and cultural diversity by sharing the Japanese American experience.
We'd love it if you'd rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast. It really helps us grow. We're taking a well-earned break next month, but we'll be back in February with season 3. Stay tuned. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.